People talk about destiny like it's a gift, like being born important should feel wonderful. But I inherited a war that ended before I was born. I inherited enemies I've never met. I inherited a family that never existed. People hear my surname, see history. They hear riddle is strange, black, and suddenly they think they know me. But all they've ever known are ghosts. I wasn't trying to change history, I was trying to go home. The problem was, I never had one. I wasn't chasing legends, I was chasing parents, and those are not the same thing. I know my father through whispers, monster, dark lord, murderer, legend. Every story sounds different except for one thing. Nobody ever calls him father. I used to imagine what his voice sounded like, whether he'd recognize me, look at me and know. Then I grew older and realized recognition isn't love. And my mother, people tell stories about madness, about obsession, about loyalty. Nobody tells stories about Bellatrix, the woman. Only Bellatrix, the weapon, the fanatic, the warning. But before she became terrifying, she must have been a girl, a lonely, frightened girl who wanted someone to choose her. Because loneliness doesn't disappear, it changes shape. It becomes devotion, it becomes obsession, it becomes desperation, and eventually it starts sounding like love. So I collected fragments of Wandle stories, a surname, pieces of two ghosts, and call them family. Because if you don't have memories, you build them. If you don't have answers, you invent them. And if you don't have parents, you spend your whole life looking for them. Do you know what real loneliness does? Not the ordinary kind, the kind that follows you into every room, the kind that whispers that if you were important enough, someone would have stayed, someone would have come back, someone would have wanted you. And eventually, loneliness grows teeth. As though danger appears overnight, as though daughters are born obsessed, as though grief leaves no scars. But I spent my whole life standing in the shadow of people I never met, trying to earn love from ghosts. I searched through history for people already gone. I searched for family inside stories, for belonging inside fear, for home inside ruins. And maybe that's my tragedy. Not that I was alone, not that I was forgotten, but that I loved people who could never love me back. If my mother had met me, she would have called me proof. If my father had met me, he would have called me useful. And somehow, that's worse than being forgotten. Because all I ever wanted was to be someone's daughter. legacy, not a weapon, not a symbol, just someone's daughter.